here's Brody Brazil.
So there's obviously a lot of you who are interested in the Rays situation that are watching this channel, watching most recent developments. You've also asked a pretty good question. I've seen it in the comments multiple times. Why can't the Rays just play games at Raymond James Stadium, home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Yeah, it's not meant for baseball, but it's bigger and it could be a more permanent, temporary option. They could figure some things out there. I'm here to, first off, explain Raymond James Stadium, show you what happened because the Savannah Bananas recently played one exhibition game there. So we've got actual, pictures and photos, and there are some video clips. I'm not going to show you those, but photos here at least that we can digest and understand what works and what doesn't work over at Raymond James Stadium. It's in Tampa, so that's nice. Opened in 1998, so it's not that old. Can seat up to 75,000, and I don't know that the Rays would ever draw that much for a regular season game if they played all their regular season games there, but it does hold a lot of people. It's home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's hosted 3 Super Bowls over the years. Players in the NFL, they actually rate this as having one of the top 3 playing surfaces, natural grass surfaces in the league, so field conditions are great. And this stadium also has tremendous audio and video systems. I think the video screens themselves are like the 3rd largest combined in all of the National Football League. So it's a good football stadium. No problem with that. No question about that. But yeah, here's what it looked like when the Bananas recently played, an exhibition game. All their games are exhibition games over at Raymond James Stadium. And a couple things to instantly note here. It's very short to right field. I mean, that's got to be maybe 150 feet. Is that what we're thinking? I mean, if this is 90 to right there, there to there's 90. Is that even another 90? Even if it's 180 at best, it's a very short right field porch. That alone doesn't work, but we'll talk about that in just a second. How could you get around that if you're the Rays and maybe play a bunch of games here? How about down the left field line? Let's call this, 350 feet. That's a poke to get it straight down the left field line. And if you really want to go yard here, dead center, I think this is 735 feet. I should have done that in a different color. Can I undo? Oh, look at that. Here, I'll do it in yellow. 735 feet out there to dead center. No, it's actually not. I have no clue, but nobody's ever going to hit a home run that far. So the dimensions are off. There's a couple other things, and I know they've put in, I think, fake dugouts right there or non-permanent dugouts. That's another thing to have to deal with here. Here's a better view. This is before they played the game, more of the high home view. So yeah, that's kind of ridiculous there. That will never work as is, and that's way too far. But obviously, you could put a fence here a lot shorter. Problem is when you get here to center field, then you got to take these seats out and build up something higher. How exactly do you do that? Well, they have done this at places like the Metrodome. There are football-shaped, rectangular-shaped stadiums over the years that have hosted baseball teams for a lot of years. The Florida Marlins, when they played at what is now Hard Rock Stadium, used to be called Joe Robbie Stadium, it was shaped just like this. Now, the problem here, I think, is that Raymond James Stadium, all those seats are permanent. I don't know if you can push those back like they used to do at Joe Robbie Stadium or Mile High Stadium, I think, in Denver. Many years ago when the Rockies were first starting, they played a couple seasons at Mile High. So there are ways to get around this. I think the biggest problem for the Rays would be, permanently, those seats have to be gone or brought back out and removed for baseball. But the problem is what's under here. If you've got permanent things or if all that is part of the structure of the rest of the stadium, you can't just cut this out and then make it a retractable seat system. But if you could, there's one of the biggest problems averted in being able to use Raymond James Stadium. You would have to figure out something here for dugouts. Obviously, there's nothing there permanent. That is so close. What is this like? It's at 10, 15 feet. I think the field would have to actually go out a little bit more that way, which would be fine here down the line. And look, these are bad seats out here. These are bad seats down the line. They're looking straight over here, not back at the field. This is not perfect, but is this doable? Could this be done? Yeah, but this is going to cost a lot of money. We also haven't talked about bullpens, but quite honestly, my idea, if you put the fence like this and then up higher here, bullpens, home and visitor out there down the left field line, I don't think that would be the biggest problem to have to figure that out. All of this could be sorted out. Yes, this is possible, right? But this is also possible to cost a lot of money. And what about using, during the football season? I mean, this is going to cross over into September, and I apologize for that poor person's head is in the photo here, crossing that person out. But, you're going to have the old baseball diamond on a football field for a month or so of the Tampa Bay Bucs season. By the way, I love the pattern, the wiggly pattern there they cut in the grass. They did a great job prepping this field. It looks outstanding. But a lot of things work here, but I don't know that works for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What would rent be? What would be the rent that they would charge the Rays to use this? Do they really want this to happen? But I got to say, that is a pretty magical scene right there. It also makes me stop to think, does Major League Baseball even have a vibe like this? Major League Baseball needs to hire everybody from the Savannah Bananas, or Major League Baseball needs to implement what they're doing. And I'm not saying make baseball a total show like this. I'm not suggesting that baseball needs to, become a performance, but man, take some elements. Look how much fun all these people are having out here at the Bananas game. And I don't know at a lot of Major League Baseball games that environment happens. So could this be done? Is this possible? Here's another view from center field. Again, I think the answer is yes, but there's so many things that make it unlikely. The fence that would have to be there, and really would have to cut all the way into those seats right there. What do? Do you put your bullpens out here? I think you do. But then what about all these seats? It doesn't make sense. Then you also have this other huge problem, which we haven't even talked about yet. And I'm going to do a separate video on this. Do you know right now? We are a week and a half away from opening day for the Rays at Steinbrenner Field, the Yankees spring training home, the Yankees single A home for the regular season over in Tampa. That's actually right around the corner from the stadium. It only seats 14 or so thousand. It's not even sold out yet for the home opener. So if you're the Rays and you're just selling out that many tickets, right? That's where all the fans are. Do you really want to play in this big old empty stadium over here? Do you really want that? Probably not. It probably goes against the cost of renting this place and the optics of this, how this is going to look. If there's 500, 700, 1,300 people here for a game, if that's really how it's going to go, then I think it's a terrible idea. Everything else, logistically, I think you could make it work. Financially, probably couldn't make it work. But from an optics sense, no, I don't think the Rays have any interest in doing anything like this. So I hope that answers everybody's question. I know it took me 8 minutes to do that. There's a lot going on here. It is possible. It has been done before. Probably more money than it's worth, and probably a bad look for the Rays. If they actually do this, it's not going to make them look very good for one or several seasons. That's the end of this video. Thumbs up down below. I'd really appreciate that. It'll help me, this video, and this channel. Also, don't forget to go down there and hit that subscribe button so I can definitely see you back here next time.